Good morning, David W. Coleman here for another edition of Dynamic Power Picks. It's the show that picks games against the spread, and if you beat me, you'll get an opportunity to win a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box with all the goodies that I have in my company. You'll love it. Tell you what, before we get into the picks, let's take a break and give you an update on what's in a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box. Back in a moment. Hey friends, David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Products and RibRub.com. That's RIBBRUBB.com. It's where you will find the best dry marinade for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats and vegetables. We're gearing up for a very busy season, so I want you to make sure you take advantage of the great sale we've got going on right now. It's the Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box. It comes in 3 great flavors: hot and spicy, original, or scorching, or a 4th combination box. What is a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box? Well, I'm glad you asked. You get 3 bags of Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, 3 bags of Coleman's Dynamic Rib Nuts, a bag of Coleman's Dynamic Fry Dust, and of course, you get a bottle of rib juice, pepper juice, and rib dust. You can't beat that. Order a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box today and get a digital copy of the Coleman's Dynamic Recipe Book. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now is the time to place that order for Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box before the holiday rush. And remember, bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at RibRub.com. All right, welcome back. David W. Coleman here. We are in the midst of picking games this week. Just let me tell you, last week, let me just tell you something real fast, okay? I got something to tell you. I'm around maybe 50-55% for the season. Most people would say that's good, and the reason I'm telling you this is because if you're out there and some guy is telling you that I'm 70% on picks this year, I'm 75%, don't believe that crap, okay? Over the years, I've been in sports radio for over 30 years, and I have never seen anyone that is consistently 65-70%. So don't believe that crap. It always regresses back to the means. I'm going to tell you. Remember, I started out 9 games above. Well, no, I was like 11 games above 500. I am slowly creeping back to the mean. Speaking of which, so right now I am 56-49. So I've lost 2 games since last week. So it just goes that way. So don't believe people when they're telling you that they are 70-75%. That's just a bunch of crap. We are picking games today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We'll have a little commentary on a couple of these games because some of them are very, very interesting, both pro and college. Last week, I was 5-5. Yeah, you're about average. And now again, I pick against the spread. I also want to remind you that if you've got a gambling problem, you need to seek help. Now, I know you're saying, well, Dave, that's kind of weird that you're telling people about a gambling problem when you are picking games. Well, look, I've told you over and over again that I pick games for fun. I don't put any money on these games. The most important thing that I've ever put on a game was like an apple pie or some of my mama's homemade rolls that I make. I call them my mama's homemade rolls, but I make them because my mama's, rest her soul, is no longer here. But what I'm trying to get you all to understand is, look, be careful out there, man. Don't bet the house. And I do this for fun, and I enjoy doing it, all right? So, without further ado, we'll do college, then we'll do pro, and then we'll get the heck out of here, okay? So, let's start off with college. Oh, man, it's Missouri versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma shocked me last week. I actually, I've been kind of riding with OK a little bit this year, but I didn't think they would be able to go to Tuscaloosa and win. Clearly, Alabama is not the Alabama of old that we've known over the last 10, 12 years. But hats off to Oklahoma. They've got a pretty good team, a pretty good defense. Missouri is coming to town. Oklahoma is a 5.5-point favorite. Okay, I'm going to go with the Sooners, 5.5. Okay? USC travels to Oregon. USC has been playing pretty decent football over the last couple of weeks, but they're up and down, up and down. They're like a piston. So Oregon is still on a mission. Oregon has always got something to bring from the Pacific Northwest. They are a 10.5-point favorite. That's a big number, but you know what? I think Oregon's gonna do it. So I'm taking Oregon plus the 10.5. I'm gonna save this game for last because I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. Let's see, Arizona State versus Colorado. Hark! Have you heard anyone talking about Deion Sanders this year? Have you heard anyone saying, hark? Wait a minute, I heard a peep. Oh, that's just a car backing up in outside. But my point is this. Remember all this noise that we were hearing about how great a coach Deion Sanders was, and he gonna take the Dallas Cowboy job, and he gonna do this, and he gonna do that, and he's such a great coach. What? They're like 3-7 this year. As a matter of fact, since being at Colorado, Deion Sanders is not even above 500, just like his kid. So all that hype about Shadur this, Shadur that, and we're gonna get into that in the pro picks. But I want to stick with Colorado just for a second. Deion Sanders is not a great coach. He wasn't a great coach, and we throw that word great around all the time. We need to stop that. If he was such a great coach, he would be doing a lot better than what he's doing. Man, he's in the Big 12. It's a weak conference. He's 3-7. And don't give me this stuff. Well, he been thick. He's not feeling well. He's not a good coach. All right, that's been debunked. And his child is going to be debunked here real soon as well. So I'm going to take Arizona minus the 7.5 against Colorado. Tennessee travels to Florida. This has been a rivalry game. I remember when I first moved to Tennessee, and the hype about, Steve Spurrier and all those other things. It's just been a long, long rivalry. Some people are trying to pretend like Florida's defense is going to play well. They've found their mark. There's questions of whether or not they're going to hire Lane Kiffin. All this stuff is up in the air. Tennessee, you really don't know what they've got, what they're doing. They're up and down, up and down, up and down. But I'm not ready to say Florida is going to win this game. I'm going to take Tennessee minus the 2.5. Last but not least, a game that I grew up with all my life, Arkansas versus Texas. Now, this is the biggest rivalry Arkansas has, okay? Now, I'm saying Arkansas because it's not Texas's biggest rival, okay? It's kind of like seeing this pretty girl and you want to date her, but she doesn't give you the time of day. That's no, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. But that's what Texas is to Arkansas. Texas is the pretty girl. And Arkansas says, hey, look at me, we Arkansas. And Texas is like, yeah, whatever. You go back and look at the record, Texas has dominated Arkansas over the years. I don't think it's gonna change today. Arch Manning is gonna have a field day. Arkansas can't stop anybody. But before I get into that, let me just say this real fast. Once they fired their last coach, Arkansas, I said, and then of course Penn State had fired James Franklin. I said, Arkansas needs to make a beeline to James Franklin. And I was on some of the Arkansas message boards, and these people were nuts. They want Bobby Petrino. Wait a minute, the guy who embarrassed the college, number one. Then the guy who couldn't get it done when it needed, the guy who couldn't play defense, that guy, okay? Now I'm hearing Gus Malzahn. So you're telling me, because now James Franklin has been hired by West Virginia. So what you're telling me is West Virginia is a better school than Arkansas? What? And you stupid Arkansas fans, oh, we don't want James Franklin. Let me just quickly say this real fast. I covered James Franklin while he was the coach of Vanderbilt. That Vanderbilt, not the current Vanderbilt that seems to have turned it around. James Franklin was the impetus in Vanderbilt being where they are today. As a matter of fact, Penn State hired James Franklin from Vanderbilt because he did such a great job. He has contacts all over the country. He's coached in the Big Ten. He's coached in the SEC. He would have been a perfect fit for the Arkansas Razorbacks. But you know what? His hue wasn't the right hue for the Razorback football team. Okay? So, no, they didn't hire him. And now they're still on their coaching search. And West Virginia has hired, in my opinion, the best candidate that was available for coaching this year. Now, I'm not talking about Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin still has a job. You should have hired James Franklin. And you can go ahead and hire Gus Malzahn or Bobby Petrino or whomever who shot John. It don't matter. Because you're still going to live in mediocrity because you have that mediocrity brain up there in Arkansas. You can look at your football team and you can look at your governor and see that's why you're suffering. Sorry to throw in the political, but I had to. All right. Arkansas versus Texas. Texas is an 8.5-point favorite. I'm taking Texas. There. Now, I'm taking a break. When we come back, we'll do the pros. You're listening to Dynamic Power Picks. Holiday Rush. And remember, bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at riprub.com. Welcome back to Dynamic Power Picks. I'm Dynamic Dave. I pick games every week. Currently, we are 56-49. We hadn't lost any money, let's put it that way. So I guess that's a good thing. But it's been tough out there, man. These games are not going the way you would typically expect them to go. So we did college. Now let's do the pros. Colts versus the Chiefs. The Colts traveled to Kansas City. The question is whether or not the Chiefs are real this year. Has that dynasty begun to falter? I don't know, but they still have Patrick Mahomes. Am I ready to accept the fact that Daniel Jones and the Colts are that good? Well, Jonathan Taylor has a lot to do with this. And we see this a lot. Well, we saw this when Daniel Jones was in New York. You had Saquon Barkley. He was running all up and down the field. He was looking good. Daniel Jones looked good. Then when Saquon Barkley left, Daniel Jones went in the toilet. So all of these accolades about Daniel Jones, okay, spare me this, all right? He's got a good defense and a good running game. That's basic football. Just don't lose the game. But I'm not ready to say that the Colts are going to go into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs. This is almost a desperation time for Kansas City if they want to make the playoffs. Forget about winning the division. You got to fight for a wild card now. I don't think the Chiefs are ready to give up the ghost as of yet. If they do, their season is done. I've got to go with the Chiefs minus 3.5. Pats versus the Bengals. But look, I'll be the first to say it. The Patriots have surprised me this year. I didn't know they would be that good. And of course, Drake May has come along faster than any other quarterbacks that was drafted along with him. Congratulations to the Patriots, although I still hate the Patriots. But I try not to pick with my heart. I try to pick with my head. Cincinnati, they are struggling. They're going nowhere. Word is that Joe Burrow may play. He may not play. Look, I'm like this. If you're Cincinnati, what good does it do to let Joe Burrow play? Your season is over. I'm just going to be real with you. What if you get him in there and he gets re-injured? Even worse, because we know that Joe Burrow is prone to injury. Forget about making a run, because the moon, the line, and 3AI is going to have to line up if the Bengals are going to get to the playoffs. I sit Joe Burrow and see what I got anywhere else. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Bengals minus 7. That is Joe Burrow plays, but I got to lay it out there. Browns versus the Raiders. This is what I call this week's Yuck Bowl. None of these guys, none of these teams, neither one is worth a flip or a flap or a flop. So, y'all know I'm a Raiders man through and through. If you look right over my shoulder right back there, am I pointing in the right direction? See right there? That's my Raiders cup. You can't see my Raiders medallion. I got my Raiders jersey. I even have on black and silver this morning. But am I ready to say that the Raiders are going to win? But they're playing Cleveland. All right, you got Miles Crosby, and guess who may be starting? Shadur Sanders. Okay, he played last week. He looked like garbage. He looked exactly what he did in college, running around. Look, I've said this over and over again. A lot of people have gotten mad at me. What he did at Colorado, he couldn't do in the pros. I said that even before he got to the pros. You upset because he hadn't got a chance to play with Kevin Stefanski. Well, why are you upset? Are you in practice every day? Are you on that practice field every day to know what that coaching staff sees every day? No, you're not. There's a reason. Look, here's the one thing I learned about pro football teams as I covered them over the years. They ain't in the business of losing. They might lose, but they don't like to lose. And if Shadur Sanders could have helped the Cleveland Browns, Shadur Sanders would have been starting by now. I'm just saying, this mess about conspiracy and all this other stuff, stop, please, okay? That dog just ain't gonna hunt. He's gonna look like trash today, and we'll see. Well, I should say tomorrow, but I can't pick the Cleveland Browns over my Raiders at home. Maybe if the Browns were playing at home, I'd pick the Browns, but I'm gonna stick with the Raiders minus 3.5. And Shadur, if I were betting over and under, I'd say minimum of 2 interceptions. Minimum. Okay? Jets and the Ravens. This is a very good number. The Jets come to our neck of the woods. I shouldn't say our because I'm not a Ravens fan. I'm a Lamar fan, but not a Ravens fan. They'll be about 20 minutes from where I am right now on Sunday. And although the Jets are making progress, and I'm glad to see that, but am I saying that they're ready to beat the Ravens? I will tell you that Lamar has been injured. I think he's practiced once this week. So he's beat up. The Ravens defense is going to have to do something. They played well last week. They are a 13.5-point favorite. I think the Ravens win, but they don't cover. So I'm going to take the Jets plus 13.5. That's just a big number considering how the Ravens are playing. Okay. Last but not least, Eagles versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys' offense has been potent. Their defense is what's been the problem. The Eagles have been having in-house problems with their star wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Now, let me just say this, all right? Nobody wants to give Jalen Hurts any credit whatsoever. He goes to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. In the first year, he loses to Kansas City, but outplayed Patrick Mahomes. As a matter of fact, he should have won the MVP. That doesn't happen to the loser, but he should have won that MVP. The next year, he goes back. He outplays Patrick Mahomes again, wins the Super Bowl, and everybody's questioning this guy's ability. This guy, in my opinion, and I've been a fan of his since college, this guy is nothing but a winner. We saw this same mess at Alabama. Okay? Saban got rid of him for Tua. He goes to Oklahoma, excels. Here we are, Philadelphia drafts him. This young man does nothing but excel under pressure. The problem is A.J. Brown. And here's the thing. If my team is winning and I'm not getting the requisite number of carries or receptions, I don't give a damn. My team's winning. That's why it's called a team. A.J. Brown is sulking because he ain't being used the way he think he ought to be used. Poor thing. If I'm the Eagles, you can't do it this year, I'm getting rid of A.J. Brown. You don't need that kind of mess in the locker room. This has been going on too long. But either way, I'm going to take the Eagles -3. Okay? Those are the picks. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll recap. You're listening to Dynamic Power Picks. Barbecue season is here, and you're still using that 99-cent goop full of chemical derivatives and high fructose corn syrup for your sauce? Stop, please. Get to ribrub.com now and save your next cookout with an array of all-natural rubs and sauces. Start with the Dynamic Rib Dust for seasoning and the Dynamic Rib Rub for flavor, and top off your grilled or smoked masterpiece with Dynamic Rib Juice. Don't forget the Dynamic Pepper Juice for just the right kick for those chicken wings. One other thing, you've got to try the delectably delicious Dynamic Rib Nuts. Can't decide? Order a Dynamic gift box and satisfy all of your cravings. Come on, give me your hand and let me take you to barbecue land at ribrub.com. That's RIBBRUBB.com, and we'll show you how to bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah. Okay, welcome back. Dynamic Power Picks up to this point, just to give you an update. Last week, 5-5. Total for the year, 56-49. Let's talk about the picks. This week, Oklahoma, -5.5. Oregon, -10.5. Texas, -8.5. Tennessee, -2.5. Arizona State, -7.5. In the pros, Chiefs, -3.5. Bengals, +7 in a +7. Raiders, -3.5. Jets, +13. And the Eagles, -3. That's how you beat me. Get those picks posted before the first college game of the day. If you beat me, you win a Coleman's Dynamic gift box. It's a great time to get a gift box. I'm just saying, it's the holiday season. We gotta go. See you next week on Dynamic Power Picks. Hey friends, David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Products and ribrub.com. That's RIBBRUBB.com. It's where you will find the best dry marinade for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats and vegetables. We're gearing up for a very busy season, so I want you to make sure you take advantage of the great sale we've got going on right now. It's the Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box. It comes in 3 great flavors: hot and spicy, original, or scorching, or a 4th combination box. What is a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box? Well, I'm glad you asked. You get 3 bags of Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, 3 bags of Coleman's Dynamic Rib Nuts, a bag of Coleman's Dynamic Fry Dust, and of course, you get a bottle of rib juice, pepper juice, and rib dust. You can't beat that. Order a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box today and get a digital copy of the Coleman's Dynamic Recipe Book. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now is the time to place that order for Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box before the holiday rush. And remember, bake it, grill it, smoke it, oh yeah, at ribrub.com.